My sister used to kind of torture me with horror movies. I remember seeing Candyman and just like not being able to handle it. But since I got involved in this genre, I'd say about a year ago, I've started to do my research and watch the movies. And when horror is done well, it's the best there is.
I'm horror obsessed. I think it's the whole reason why Rob Paul and I ever, really came together. We were doing the Terminator show together, and I remember the first day we met, he was talking a few feet away about Argento films, and I sort of, at 19, decided it was my opportunity to jump in and share my opinion, and we kind of been best friends ever since.
They talk about this as a genre, but there's so many different types of movies in this genre. It's kind of like heavy metal. You say heavy metal, but there are so many different types of music in heavy metal that encompasses that.
This movie isn't torture porn like Hostel or Saw, and it's not a slasher movie from the 80s. I think it has little bits of all those things. I think it feels like a Cronenberg movie. It's kind of like The Fly maybe meets Flatliners, so we have elements of science fiction. We have some ghost elements.
This is like psychological, and it really kind of makes you think.
I think that there's like the psychological aspect of it. I think is pretty exciting, that everybody deals with fear and phobias, and a lot of the times, people aren't being treated for those things, and it's kind of interesting that this is a project where people are coming together to be treated to get over these phobias, and where people mostly just live with them every day.
The Fear Clinic's a good example of where you can take something that is that thrilling release and mix it with something very intellectual, which is all the horror films that I love the most.
That would be a draw for me as a fan, to go watch a movie that's more psychological, like that kind of makes you pay attention, and that's when you get scared, right? Because when you're paying attention to the story, and then all of a sudden something comes around the corner.
Being scared is fun. It's a safe scared. I don't think people really want to be scared, but where their life depends on it. But I think it's thrilling.
Me personally, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but I enjoy doing them. They're a lot of fun.
Because it's a thrill. It's like an adrenaline rush. That you're in the safety of your own home or in a theater.
You could take it so far beyond somebody's wildest imagination, and you just keep going with it. I think that's kind of fun. It's like this movie surprises me all the time. I'm going, wait, what? Explain this again.
I know who you are. I won't let you through again.
You were taking so much food off my table.
We're not really addressing part of life, and part of life is death. The one place you do address that is the horror film. You identify with somebody that's in jeopardy on the big screen, and you address that catharsis. You identify with the survivor girl, or the kid walking in the woods, or the person in jeopardy. And for those few moments, you do a substitution, and you confront your own mortality.
Well, I think you can trace it back to the annals of history of why, it's the reason why horror is still such a needed thing in society. You look back, people went to witch burnings and people went to beheadings.
I think there's something kind of collective about the horror experience. Whether you see it alone or not, you always tend to share. Hey, I just saw The Conjuring, you gotta check it out, man, you're really gonna like it. I tell my bartender. We tend to share that because I think when you're afraid, when you get scared in a film, I think you feel a little more alive.
Of course, iconic Robert Englund. Working with him working with everyone's been amazing, but working with him honestly used to scare the crap out of me as a kid watching Nightmare on Elm Street. So he's just fantastic.
And he gets to really, instead of just coming in and chewing through some scenery, he gets to really, really be vulnerable. And he's got a nude scene in this, and he's just like letting it all hang out literally.
I've never seen him do anything quite like this. It's so nice to see him out of any kind of makeup and out of any kind of artifice, or he's really just being a great actor.
Blake, I need to ask you something that may make you feel uncomfortable. Might upset you.
Go ahead.
Some guy who builds this box, and he wants to play God, and he wants to start digging around in our heads. No way.
Damn, that is creepy.
I see monsters. Close your eyes and just concentrate on the sound
of mine.